Welcome back to White Mountains today. I should say I'm snow excited because we do have officially a snow ranger from the U.S. Forest Service on the show with us this morning. Jeff Lane, good morning to you. Thanks for coming on over.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Did you have to drive all the way down from the Androscoggin station this morning?
No, I actually live in Conway.
Oh, you do? So you're on your way to work.
So when we're done here, I'm going to go up to Mt.Washington to Pinkham Notch.
Oh my goodness. For people who don't know a lot about snow rangers, they might be familiar with just general Forest Service rangers. They might see them in the summertime hiking. Can you tell me a little bit about what a snow ranger does?
Yeah, definitely. So we work for the White Mountain National Forest. We operate the small Mt.Washington Avalanche Center. We're one of about 20 or so avalanche centers around the country. And our primary responsibilities are to forecast avalanches on the east slopes of Mount Washington, so for Tuckerman and Huntington ravines. After that, our next responsibility is search and rescue. For 6 months out of the year, we take it over responsibility from the state of New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
For Tuckerman and Huntington.
Okay.
And the Summit Cone and that area, the eastern side.
For the winter months.
Right, just for the winter and the spring ski season.
Which is the crazy.
That's the busy time when it comes to search and rescue.
Right.
A lot of skiers up there.
Oh my gosh.
And then after that, we do a lot of just public interaction, educational opportunities, talking to people out on the porch at Hermit Lake, going to schools, working with avalanche classes, working with local rescue groups.
Do you guys actually teach avalanche rescue up there, or do other groups bring their classes and then you'll maybe talk to the class at large if they're up there doing test pits and things like that?
That's more how we do it. The local guiding services, for the most part, do the avalanche instruction, and when we see them in the field, we'll actually interact with them and talk to them and tell them a little bit about what goes into our forecasting process.
That's perfect.
A little bit about the rescue side of things as well.
What does go into the forecasting process? We talked a little bit off air about what you are actually reporting in on. You're not reporting in on every aspect of Mount Washington itself.
Yeah, so we forecast on what we call a microscale basis, and that means we're forecasting each individual slope. In contrast to a Western forecasting center where they forecast an entire mountain range, we'll forecast in Tuckerman, for example, we'll put a forecast out for Hillman's Highway, for the lower snowfields, for Left Gully, for the Chute, and all of these are different avalanche paths as you work your way around the mountain.
Yep.
So we do that. We have 18 different forecast areas, and each one of those on a daily basis gets rated on a 1 to 5 scale, where it's either low, moderate, considerable, high, or extreme.
Whew.
Each of those ratings has a specific definition attached to it that we use as our anchor for when we're deciding what to rate it.
Right.
So that, me rating something considerable like we did this morning would mean the same as when Chris, my supervisor, would forecast it at considerable, or even the folks out in Utah or Washington or the Canadian Rockies.
Wow.
Considerable has the same meaning regardless of where you're at.
So people know and can take that knowledge and apply it. So if there's visitors from out west and they see it, it's sort of uniform. That's perfect. How many avalanches do you see up there in a season?
In an average season, I'd say we record over 100 observed avalanches.
Wow.
And we observe those by seeing either debris piles at the bottom, crown lines up at the top, or we get a report of one from somebody that's been involved with it, or we see it happen, and thankfully those are few and farther between.
Right.
But we do see well over 100. In a good year, it might be 150.
Oh my gosh. What's the biggest one you've ever witnessed up there?
The biggest one I think that I've seen, there were a couple big ones that come to mind, but one, Hillman's Highway slid in 2008 where it went over a berm in its normal slide paths that curves around. It went over the berm and into forest that hadn't seen much avalanche activity, and it basically took out 4 acres of forest.
Wow. 4 acres of forest. Yeah, oh my gosh.
It took 70-year-old trees and snapped them like matchsticks.
Really? That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Were you up there during the avalanche itself?
Not at the time that it slid. Most of our avalanches happen either during or immediately after a storm.
So they're probably tough to actually see.
Yeah, because it's usually when it's storming up there, you're in the clouds, there's blowing snow.
Right.
Usually we have to wait for the things to settle down and clouds clear out, and then we look around and see what happened.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Yeah, it was impressive.
That is. You're on Facebook too?
Oh yeah.
Hans just said they're on Facebook.
Yeah, we do our forecasting. The forecast that you'd see on our website is is the official forecast, and there are a couple of venues where we do kind of informal discussions with people. Facebook's one. We also have a weekend update that we put out on Friday evenings. So this afternoon we'll do a little, it's less formal, it doesn't replace the advisory, but what it does is supplement people's ability to get information.
Okay.
That's ultimately what we want, is we collect and analyze and give out information, but ultimately it's the user, the visitor, that has to make their decision about where to go.
Right. You can't say, oh yeah, definitely go here.
Right.
If they were to get hurt, that's...
You really won't find me calling anywhere safe, and
Yep.
you won't hear me saying, no, you can't go there. It's ultimately,
Yeah.
here are the risks and here's how dangerous I think it is.
Right.
But it's the decision's yours.
That's the way to do it. You got to do it that way.
I think that's good, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So throughout the rest of this winter, are there any specific things that people should be mindful of?
Yeah, just keeping track of the weather, you know, and we see a lot of different visitor types. You know, we see people who are really skilled and experienced, and those people require a little bit different information. Then there's people who have never been up to the Mt.Washington or Tuckerman Ravine before. The biggest thing for those people is really just paying attention to knowing where avalanche terrain is. The
Yeah.
best way to avoid it is to avoid being in an avalanche is to not get into avalanche terrain.
Right.
And knowing where to stop going on those days is probably their best bet for staying out of avalanche hazard.
Excellent. And with real quick with search and rescue, that's not something people really want to have to use, obviously. How does it work here in the White Mountains for those who may make uninformed decisions that cost them, some some unfortunate circumstances?
I will say that no matter who you are, you can have an accident. I've carried out very skilled people doing all the right things, and I've helped people who maybe shouldn't have been there in the first place. So it happens to everybody. I've personally been carried out of there.
Wow.
And I think I'm an experienced person.
Yep.
But generally speaking, the state of New Hampshire, the Fish and Game Department, manages search and rescue all around the White Mountains, all around the state. And for 6 months out of the year, from December 1st through June 1st, the Forest Service takes over the responsibility of eastern slope of Mount Washington, what we call the Cutler River drainage.
Okay.
So we're the lead agency. If we had a large accident and we needed assistance, we'd call a few of the local search and rescue groups, such as Mountain Rescue, AVSAR, Pemby Valley. There's several different groups that we can call. And the Mount Washington Volunteer Ski Patrol in the springtime is a huge asset for us.
That's great.
So there's a lot of different help that we can get. There's only 4 of us that work as snow rangers, so it's hard to carry somebody out with 4 people. It takes a lot of effort and manpower.
Oh my goodness. And is someone always up there every day for the most part for as a snow ranger? So
when we're in full forecasting season, we're up there most each and every day.
Yep.
And we do day shifts. We go up at 6:30 in the morning. We come down in the afternoon.
Wow.
The AMC has the caretaker that works up at Hermit Lake Shelters. The Harvard Mountain Club has a cabin over near Huntington, and those people are up working in the evenings.
Okay.
But there's definitely no guarantee that somebody's going to be there to lend a hand if somebody gets into trouble.
Right. So definitely be prepared.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People should come prepared for being self-sufficient.
Excellent. Oh boy. Now I'm anxious to go skiing, but I'm also anxious to read your latest avalanche forecast.
Yeah, well, the end of December's been great. We've had 57 inches in the last 2 weeks or so.
Wow. That's right. You mentioned off air it was 16 inches of snow. Only 16 inches of snow?
On the summit, they had recorded only in December 6 inches of snow.
6 inches?
As of December 15th.
Oh my gosh.
And as of this morning, they're up to 63 on the summit.
Wow. 63 divided by 12. What's that, 7 feet? 6 feet? 7 feet?
Oh, and I'm sorry, 63 inches?
Yeah.
It'd be a little over 5 feet.
A little over 5 feet. Wowzers, that's a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Let's have it all blow into the ravine to make for some good spring skiing.
We're hopeful.
Yeah.
Hopefully it keeps going.
Oh my gosh. Did I forget anything today? Donations and education.
Oh, we have a White Mountain Avalanche Education Fund. People can donate there through our website, and that money goes into basically into a fund that local schools can apply for scholarships for their students to take avalanche classes.
Oh, great.
They can hire somebody to come into their class to do a little avalanche presentation.
Wow.
Local rescue people can apply for scholarships to go and take avalanche training themselves.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a great way to help, kind of give back to the avalanche community.
Definitely. That's perfect. And so they can get more information on that.
Yeah, that's on our website, Mt.Washington.avalanchecenter.org.
Okay, Mt.Washington.avalanchecenter.org. And what else did I forget? I think that might have been it. We had a lot to talk about. I think we're good. Thanks so much, Jeff, for coming on by on your way up the notch. I think the roads are perfectly clear now, so driving should be decent for you to get up there. And if you do get up, I hope you get to have a nice ski down, perhaps on the.
Well, unfortunately, when we drive the snowmobile up, we have to drive it back down.
Someone has to drive it back down.
Yeah.
Well, that's no fun, especially on a powder day. Just kidding.
I know.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeff. The final ski report is coming up in just a few minutes, and we will be right back with more on White Mountains Today.